So I introduced my cat to Bitcoin recently.
The prophecy is true.
It's act cool, so there's no camera there. It's just, we're having a great time, and these things are amazing.
I get where this guy was coming from now. I thought about this recently. I think what contributes mainly to these mind-blowing realizations is not blockchain itself. Blockchain is a fine technology, just fine. But when you put it in comparison to the alternative, boy, does it blows up. Absolutely amazing in comparison to the alternative. Front page of CoinDesk is a statement or an article about why SegWit2x is doomed to fail. The upcoming Bitcoin hard fork scheduled anywhere from November 13th to 16th. It's a good article, but in summation, the problem with the New York agreement was that they thought they represented consensus, just those guys there. And interestingly, since the New York agreement was signed, about 38% of the signers have dropped out of the agreement. And ultimately, the market's going to decide no centralized parties. The futures market is trading, and it was quite indicative of what the Bitcoin Cash valuation was going to be. They were trading for about 300, 400. Currently, this is around 15% of a real Bitcoin's value. Still no replay protection implemented for the hard fork. So you need to be careful with what you do with your Bitcoin until you can split them. Bitcoin's old, man. Look how old it is. It's so slow. It's so costly to use. I get these arguments, and I understand why people, especially those that got in this year, myself included, would prefer other crypto to Bitcoin. It's like the only complaint I get regularly, you're a fanboy of Bitcoin. Is it even relevant when there's other cheaper, newer, faster alternatives like Litecoin, for example, that one day, one of these coins is going to overtake Bitcoin because Bitcoin's old and outdated. Here's where I think the problem arises. Let me paint you this picture. Okay, so this is over there in the sky is Bitcoin, and here is Bitcoin's the bright sun. The other cryptocurrencies are the planets that, do you know what, this is stupid. Let's say, for example, Bitcoin is the center of the universe. It's the sun. All the altcoins or the planets rotate around this sun. Should the brightness or the value of Bitcoin go down, these other planets are going to suffer, if not die entirely. They are so dependent on Bitcoin, it's crazy. So if you want your planet to succeed, you want that sun to succeed. Okay, at least for now, at least for the conceivable future, you're not going to do very well with your altcoin if Bitcoin's going down. Also keep in mind that most altcoins are created simply to be turned into more Bitcoin one day. And I don't have any numbers for this, but in terms of cryptocurrency, altcoins are not being used primarily as a currency, but rather digital gold, Bitcoin being the best for this. Why? Because it's the oldest, which means it's the most secure, most tried, most true, most valuable, most expensive in proof of work, which actually does contribute to its value, the fact that it's expensive to create. Because of airdropped, forked coins, like people have been going nuts for, media attention, fanboys like me spreading the word, etc., 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 Bitcoin is the best digital store of value, in my opinion. This is not to mention the epic scaling that is coming to Bitcoin. We should have the Lightning Network fully implemented, I think, in 2019. Graphene was discussed, which is a potential upgrade protocol which allows a lot more data to be stored in a single block than is currently possible. Some extremely intelligent people out there are behind Bitcoin, some of the best and brightest in the world. So I would suggest this. You ask yourself, if Bitcoin hasn't been the best crypto in existence, isn't still currently, despite its flaws, and still won't be for the conceivable future. Maybe you think the answer is no to that, and I think we could have an interesting debate. I think you know what my answer would be. Is it too late to get into Bitcoin because it's so expensive? Well, I like these images. Essentially, we have Bitcoin here at 41 billion market cap. Is that right? That's very old. We're at 120 billion. The gold market cap is $8.2 trillion. Gold has its use cases. Bitcoin has its use cases. In terms of a store of value, I think Bitcoin is better than gold. One of the main reasons is it's transportable. It's more convenient than gold. So Bitcoin is but a small fraction of what the market cap is for gold. And in my opinion, in many people's opinion, not everyone's, but in many people's opinion, they also agree that Bitcoin's a better store of value than gold is. So while this is not financial advice, no, I don't think it is too late to invest in Bitcoin or speculate, because it's not actually a company you're buying into. You're speculating. The total market cap continues to bounce off the 200 billion mark. Bitcoin dominance has fallen slightly to 60%. Potentially, we've seen Bitcoin's movement slow down in terms of how high is it going to get before the fork. We're getting closer. Some people, myself included, are having the thoughts, maybe I should buy some of these altcoins as they're the cheapest. They're probably ever going to go again. Maybe, who knows? So people are selling, predicting the dip after the fork. Potentially, this is a reason why Bitcoin hasn't, who knows? It might shoot up by the time you watch this. Ethereum's at $300. I thought that was funny. Some people were wondering if the Bitcoin Cash pump wasn't going to take it all the way to $1,000 when we were up here. It certainly looked like it was a possibility. A lot of the rest of the top 10 are pretty much consolidating Monero. People behind Monero have been hard at work. There's been several conferences, and recently it was announced that the multi-signature implementation has started testing. So multi-signature or multi-sig transactions require more than one key to authorize the sending of funds, and it's presumed that once this is implemented, that shady websites will be much more open to using Monero as the only source of payment and dropping Bitcoin. Okay, Potcoin just entered the top 100 with an almost 50% rise, although the market cap's very low, so this is why this happens sometimes. There doesn't seem to be any news per se driving the growth. Okay, so we've been talking about how these pump and dump groups choose a certain sector of coin to go in and pump. Today's flavor of the day could be Potcoin's Vapors coin, up 452%, although essentially the market, forget that. Green coin, that might not even be a weed coin. We don't even know what the market cap is. Potcoin is up 43%. Hemp coin is up 37%, but again, really, really low market caps. I don't know if any of that's related, but I just thought that was interesting. No reason behind the growth, none whatsoever. I think a lot of the trading right now is short term. There's a lot of coins that grow short term, but just because of the fork, they cash out back to Bitcoin. And then a lot of the coins that pumped previous day end up on this list the next day. Now, here's something to consider. How many coin projects out there right now are withholding news about developments, exciting news updates until after the fork? Because they realize that right now, altcoins have got this artificial wall where they just can't really grow because people want Bitcoin instead. Bitcoin Cash is doing it slightly because its network upgrade isn't planned until the day of the fork or just after. Ethereum, for example, has the Raiden network upgrade planned for implementation early December. Could just be coincidental, but maybe not. I think a ton of news is going to flood, especially our cryptocurrency, from projects that have been withholding news. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe there are coin companies right now giving you the news as it comes out. That kind of legitimizes them in my mind, but thank you to everyone that came to the Leeds meetup last Saturday. Had a great time. Do appreciate you coming. And I think a lot of what people were saying was they learned a lot. Not from me, some from me. A little bit from me. Who knows? Generally sharing ideas. It was really cool. It was really cool. And people wanted me to do these stuff again. I definitely will. I will keep you posted when the next one will be. Some of you guys mentioned I should do the next one in London, and I'll definitely keep that in mind.
The prophecy is true.